Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, the light is a bit too bright for my eyes. I'm here today representing the Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria. He is unable to attend because of exigencies of his duty. He has a speech which I'm going to read, and thereafter I'll take some of the questions slated for him. Standing on all existing protocols, good morning everyone. It is my delight to participate at today's special event, the MTN Nigeria 2023 Capital Market Day, organized by MTN Nigeria under the theme, Executing for Sustainable Growth. First, I wish to congratulate MTN for being at the frontier of digital investment in Nigeria. Your organization is driven by strong businesses and investment strategies as reflected in your company's September 2023 unaudited account. The account showed that mobile line subscription for your clientele rose by 4.8% in the last 9 months with an addition of 2 million new subscribers, which increased your subscription base to 77.8 million. In the same period, your active data users increased by 13.3% to 43.1 million users, and your mobile wallet, person-to-person business wallet, also increased by 53.1% to 3.6 million wallets. Your business is a success story, an example of an exemplary foreign direct investment that contributed immensely to the digital space and commerce in general in Nigeria. The topic I'm speaking on today, driving investment through foreign exchange reforms, is of immense priority for the fiscal and monetary authorities in view of the importance of the momentum the current reforms are to diversify the Nigerian economy more than ever before, and also to improve sectors that are growth enhancing to drive inclusive and sustainable output growth. The current administration has affirmed its commitment to forge ahead with economic reforms and has demonstrated these far-reaching reforms, which was undertaken as soon as the administration was sworn in on May 29, 2023. This started with the elimination of the petroleum subsidy that had hitherto weighed seriously on government finances for years. Furthermore, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning had approved the appointment of 3 designated banks for the collection of the Nigerian Export Supervision Scheme. In addition, there are ongoing processes to strengthen the synergy between the Nigerian Diaspora Commission to ensure the efficient transmission of remittances at lower cost. In view of the common goals to drive output growth and development, there are efforts to further improve coordination between the fiscal and monetary authorities to drive reforms across all sectors of the economy, including the foreign exchange market. Distinguished guests, notably the inflow of foreign capital into Nigeria declined significantly post-COVID-19 pandemic. Inflow of foreign direct investment declined from 438.7 million in Q4 2020 to 122.3 million in Q1 2023. Similarly, portfolio investment contracted from 476.53, a contraction, to a lower contraction of 2.2 billion in Q3 2023. In Q2 2023, however, there had been significant improvement in the inflow of FPI, which had risen to 1.9 billion on account of improved investors' confidence. Besides legacy issues which include infrastructural deficits, bureaucracy, red tapes, security concern, and foreign exchange volatility, structural issues continue to sustain the inflow of investment. It is therefore imperative that we address these challenges, particularly the foreign exchange supply and volatility of our domestic currency, the Naira. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the apex monetary authority, the central bank's mission is to ensure price and financial system stability as a catalyst for inclusive growth and sustainable economic development. To achieve this, the bank seeks to ensure the integrity of the financial system and the soundness of its policy that will engender economic growth, financial stability, and favorable external balance for investment to thrive. Among the tools to achieve this is a stable foreign exchange regime. Foreign exchange is an important price in Nigeria that has a high correlation with other prices. For this singular attribute, it is important that far-reaching reforms are undertaken to ensure market stability as a precursor for improving the investment climate in Nigeria. The recent reforms are to achieve transparent, stable, and a liquid foreign exchange market where the true value of the local currency, the Naira, is discovered based on demand and supply fundamentals. On June 14, 2023, a far-reaching reform in the foreign exchange market was the elimination of multiple exchange rate window and the transfer of all forex transactions to the Nigerian foreign exchange window. This window operates under the willing buyer and the willing seller principle to promote appropriate price discovery for the Naira and eliminate unwholesome practices. Due to FX scarcity, however, the exchange rate depreciated from June to October by 52.3%. The bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria, is however optimistic that as efforts to clear the matured FX futures and reforms continue, the Naira will recover and regain market stability. To enhance transparency and accountability in the foreign exchange market, on August 17, 2023, there was launched a new portal called the Foreign Exchange Price Verification System, which is a prerequisite for all importers to have access to foreign exchange. All applications for Form N are to include valid price verification generated from the price verification portal. This is to ensure all prices are quoted correctly and promote the reduction of spurious requests and support legitimate transactions. The CBN on October 12, 2023 lifted the ban on the 43 items that were hitherto restricted from accessing foreign exchange at the official window. This was aimed at improving orderliness and professional conduct in the foreign exchange market. By lifting this restriction, the Central Bank of Nigeria is reinforcing its policy of unified FX markets with flexible and transparent pricing. The CBN believes that as liquidity improves, the distortion in the market will moderate. Moreover, FX reforms had contributed to the decline in the demand pressure as we have seen in the market. Although the inflationary and foreign exchange pressure poses downside risk to investment and growth in Nigeria, there's optimism in the outlook of the economy as staff and IMF projection indicates an upward trajectory of output growth and moderation in inflation. The IMF projected an output growth of 2.9 and 3.1% for the Nigerian economy for 2023 and 2024 respectively, and inflation was projected at 25.1 and 23.0 for the same period. CBN staff estimates projects output growth for 2023 at 2.79 and 3.0 7 for year 2024. Inflation is also projected to decline to 23.1 into the first half of next year. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, undoubtedly the Central Bank of Nigeria has a pivotal role in steering our nation towards a future marked with increased foreign investment. Driving investment through foreign exchange reforms is crucial for Nigeria's economic growth and stability. By ensuring exchange rate stability, we create a favorable investment climate and drive economic diversification, employment generation, and overall prosperity. The bank is committed to championing transparent policies, new technologies, and improve our collaboration with the fiscal authorities to ensure that we move this country forward. The Central Bank of Nigeria is also passionate about compliance with extant rules and regulation. Collectively, we must strive to create an environment that attracts foreign capital by increasing the visibility of Nigeria as an attractive investment destination. I wish you all fruitful deliberation and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
The floor is open for you to engage the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm very sure a lot of our foreign investors want to hear from you. But let me take you up on this. IMF recently said the monetary policy in Nigeria is loose and does not support the Naira. Does the CBN agree?
Thank you very much. The Central Bank of Nigeria manages liquidity in a way to ensure that there is enough in the economy not to stifle it. I would say that the Central Bank of Nigeria had continued to pursue a contractionary monetary policy regime. Interest rate, that is the monetary policy rate, MPR, was increased from 11.5%. Currently, it stands at 18.75%. And we know, since this rate is that rate which other interest rate takes the anchor from, rates in the markets, as we all know, lending rate, borrowing rate has also increased. So we will not say that we have a loose monetary policy, because at 18.75%, and then the rate at which bank give out loans, what we say is we are maintaining a contractionary monetary policy, but then with the injection from the fiscal side because of their expansionary monetary policy, then it may be seen as if maybe the tightness is not strong enough, but we are sustaining a contractionary monetary policy. Thank you.
So in essence, CBN disagrees?
Well, we are sustaining a contractionary monetary policy regime.
Anyway, the floor is open. You can answer any question. Do we have hands up? Okay, there are a lot of hands up there.
Thank you, Doctor. It's Janesh from Mazi Asset Management. There's a $6 or $7 billion backlog for FX. I think it was announced a couple of weeks ago. Is there a plan to clear that? Because I imagine the Naira will never find a stability if there's a massive seller trying to exit. So is there a plan to clear that, and by when? Yeah, thank you.
Probably we'll take three and then she can answer them. The second one, please. Maybe before they make up their minds, maybe you might engage him on this.
Sorry, Madam, Mrs. Duke. First, our good wishes to the Governor of Central Bank. But fortunately for me, one-time central bank governor is also here. What I find as a miss or missing between the governor before you and the governors before now is there's no link between CBN, the way it's currently constituted, and the capital market. But realizing that the Nigerian capital market itself was a baby of central bank, will you be in a position to confirm that we'll be going back to the days where there is a lab, a connection, because the capital market and the money market certainly must have some level of connection. So is this something you want to confirm? But if you are not able to confirm, is this something that we hope to see in the future? Again, Nona Awo.
Okay, thank you. We have online questions coming in. This one is saying, what's the level of collaboration by the Central Bank of Nigeria with other financial regulatory authorities to ensure adequate liquidity in the system? Okay, so we'll take these three and then we can go back.
Okay. Thank you very much. The first question, which says, is the Central Bank of Nigeria clearing the FX backlog? Yes, the Central Bank of Nigeria has started to clear the FX backlog, and it is doing this in an orderly manner. And this is already in the media, even though it has not finished clearing it, but this is the promise of the governor of the Central Bank and the bank that will continue to put in all resources to ensure that we clear the backlog. It is a foremost issue, and we are very aware of the implication on the foreign exchange market for investors' confidence, and this is why it has commenced. So yes, the central bank is clearing the FX backlog. The second question asked if there was no link between the central bank and the capital market. Theory shows, and even in the literature, you cannot divorce a central bank from the capital market. The policies a central bank makes definitely affects the market, the capital market, particularly through the interest rate channel. For instance, if the central bank increases its monetary policy enough to ensure that the real interest rates are very positive, this is good news for the capital market because you now see a lot of inflow coming in. So through the exchange rate channel, the central bank is connected. The central bank as a regulator that uses its policy tools to manage the money supply. The interest rates that comes out of it will affect the capital markets, the money market, and then the bonds markets. So there's a connection between the central bank and the capital market. And the last question is, what's the level of collaboration between the authorities? There are always one form of collaboration or not. There are different bodies under which central bank collaborates with different authorities. And this is very important for us to ensure that the monetary policy formulation affects the economy in a very positive way. So there's collaboration with other regulators, and then we are also making sure that our collaboration with the fiscal authority is very robust, because the fiscal policy and the monetary policy are both required to ensure that Nigeria achieve a sustainable economic development.
Thank you very much. We'll be back for another set of questions. Let's take our microphones round.
So, hi, Seki from Ashmore. Just to follow up, please, on the backlog. Could you let us know how you intend to fund paying that down? Second thing, possibly linked to last week, an announcement about possible deposit from the Saudi central bank into the CBN. Anything you can say about that, please, and any timeline will be helpful. And also lastly, what is actually outstanding in the backlog right now, please? Thank you.
Okay, let's have more hands up. While that is on, we have other online questions from Manvendra Singh, HSBC. He says, how much FX backlog is yet to be cleared, and what is the most important factors or events which need to happen to stabilize the Naira rates? More hands? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Janish from Mazi again. Is there a plan for the central bank to move to more conventional monetary policy? The last 6-7 years have been kind of chaotic. Excess CRR, debiting deposits, the regulations the banks have faced have been quite dramatic. Maybe just an idea of where monetary policy is expected to go from here.
Okay, maybe you can take this.
Thank you very much. I know the issue of backlog will engender a lot of interest, but as I said earlier, the central bank is in the process of clearing the backlog. The issue of where the funding will come from, there are several moves by the fiscal and the monetary authority to access external capital, and some of this will be used to clear the backlog. For the Saudi investments, I think this was an issue between the fiscal policy and the Saudi government. I really cannot say much on it now. And the next question is, what is outstanding in the backlog? All I can say is that the backlog is the process of being cleared, and the central bank will ensure that it does as much as it can to clear the what is left. But I cannot give you that this is exactly what it is, but you can take the word of the governor into consideration that he's going to ensure that the backlog is cleared, and the bank is really working assiduously to achieve this. The question is how much, okay, it's the same as the backlog. Then the foreign exchange market, the question was that what is the challenge with it? The challenge with the foreign exchange market basically is a foreign exchange shock, supply shock. And because there isn't as much supply to meet the demands, of course there's going to be demand pressure, and that's what we're experiencing, demand market pressure. But the institution of the willing buyer, willing seller has been able to dampen some of this shock. Hitherto, when importers or when exporters bring in their forex, there's some restriction on how they can sell it. But the market now is such that it's a willing buyer, willing seller principle. So people can sell to whoever they wish, and this is helping to moderate the foreign exchange demand pressure. The last question is asking if when central bank will return to the conventional monetary policy. Central bank has returned to its conventional monetary policy. Indeed, in the past, we undertook some measures, quasi-fiscal activities, but all those are in the past now. With the coming in of the new administration, they made it very clear that the primary mandate of the central bank is going to be price stability. That's what we're going to focus on. And this is what we're doing using the orthodox monetary policy tools, and we have jettisoned engaging ourselves in fiscal authority. So currently, our policy is to focus on monetary policy that is targeted as ensuring price stability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. More questions on the floor?
Hey, good morning. It's Randall from Old Mutual Investment Group. Thanks for the presentation and the opportunity to ask questions. I just wanted to ask if you can just confirm in terms of the CBN overdraft to government, what is the current status of that? I mean, are you still lending to the government through that facility? And then in terms of the recent issuance of OMOs, can we expect more of that? And just generally, what is the thinking around that? Thanks a lot.
Well, can you repeat your question, sir? She didn't get the last part of your question.
The OMOs, the open market operation bills that the CBN recently issued. So I just want to know if we can expect more of those and just generally the thinking around that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. One answer up. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Lynette Muriongi from Absa Bank, based in Kenya. My question is more on policy with a medium to long-term outlook. Cognizant of the difference between FX demand and supply dynamics at the corporate level vis-a-vis micro SMEs and retail space, is there an opportunity to incentivize the merchants to take up more international PDQ machines or POS machines to kind of tie the massive opportunity there is to build FX inflows from trade? And the reason why I ask this is because I can imagine the massive traffic, whether it's business or just general tourism that is experienced by Nigeria. So if there's an opportunity for retail traders to make more money from, people in transit or tourism or business, such that the amount of FX inflows aside from flight, hotel, and maybe high-end restaurants increases to maybe 3-4x from 0.5x, just because we can use our international cards more at the merchant place. Is there an opportunity to incentivize them to take up more of those machines, just to kind of build FX inflow at the very last mile end? Thanks.
Thank you very much. Did you get that? Okay. Maybe we'll take one more for this round, and then I will come back to her. Okay. You can.
Thank you very much. The first question was on overdraft to government, what we refer to as ways and means. For the backlog, which was about 23 trillion, you should be aware that this has been securitized, and it is now like a loan to the federal government, and it's referred to as claims on government. This is to ensure that it does not dampen the balance sheet of the central bank. So this has been securitized, and going forward, the ways and means, if at all it will be given to the government, it will not be more than 5% of the previous year's revenue allocation. The central bank is very, very strict on this, and the period where government easily access ways and means, that is over. For the OMO, that's open market operations. This is a liquidity management tool. It's one of these tools still used by the central bank, and it is deployed as we see it fit, not that we want to use it as an investment tool. It is basically a liquidity management tool, and there's a need to increase its use, then it will be. Then on the policy for FX supply and demand, if there's incentives to trade, The central bank is encouraging digitalization. We have seen that digitalization is the way to go. And if merchants have more access to FX using the POS, where people can deploy their debit and credit card, then it will be a very good means of accessing foreign exchange. So it is something the central bank can look into, even though we do not directly harbor on the merchants to use foreign POS for the cards. So the incentives there is we continue to strive to see all avenues for which we can improve the drive to increase foreign exchange flow into the economy. So if this is given a very good review and we think it is appropriate for the country at this point in time, then it will be very well taken on board. Thank you very much.
We'll probably have more questions, but let me read this out from some of the online people. Is that what is your view of mobile money and what type of support is offered by the Central Bank of Nigeria for their success? Why are the telecom operators not allowed to use their own brand for the mobile money services? More from the audience.
Sorry, Doctor, it's Jainesh again. On the willing buyer, willing seller mechanism that's in place now, it doesn't look like it's the official rate we see on the screen is moving despite there being a willing buyer, willing seller policy. So, you know, why is that the case? And is there maybe a aversion to allowing the Naira to really move properly? Thank you.
Did you get that? Okay, we have this question. Mayo Samuel, Polaris Bank. I said, talking about inflation vis-a-vis the current MPR, for the past MPC meetings in the last 1 year, MPR has been at the upward trend, which has also impacted negatively on inflation. However, this seems to be on paper, and that is not the reality with the so-called market women, cost of production, labor and consumption. What is really the CBN doing? Not just to increase MPR, but reduce or stabilize inflation below double digits. Okay, do you have one
Yes.
more? Yes, please.
So I just want to, I would like you, if you can please clarify what you meant when you talked about the CBN wanting to attract low value remittances. I'm not sure if I had clarity around that. Thanks.
Okay, more hands are going up now. Will you want to answer these ones now?
Yeah.
Okay, after this set, we'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. The first question was, what is my view on mobile money and why telecos are not licensed to do so? Mobile money, as you know, this involves a whole gamut of money that are outside the fiscal space, money that you do not touch. Mobile money is very important because it also helps financial intermediation. It increases the velocity of money. With mobile money, transactions multiply. So mobile money is the way to go because this has to do with digital money, the use of wallets, etc. Now, I believe telecos have been licensed We have, MTN has one which is called Momo Money. And everything in the country, however, has to be under a regulatory framework. Whether it's mobile money or physical money, we have to ensure we keep a tab on money supply. Money supply is that which we have to manage to ensure that inflation doesn't get out of hands. And with the emergence of mobile money, the velocity of money, the way at which money change hands is very, very high. So mobile money is the way to go. However, we must also ensure that it does not start to breach the money supply benchmark. On the willing buyer, willing seller, I want to state categorically that the central bank has not intervened in the foreign exchange markets. If you have noticed well enough, the market is strictly driven by the people who have money to sell, the foreign exchange to sell, and those who have to buy. And the market is also in the process of price discovery currently. There are a lot of reforms that are going in. People are also ensuring that their position is not so loose that they may incur losses. So because of that, I believe that is why the rate is as it is. But central bank is not interfering in the market. We are not injecting, we are not buying. It is strictly for the willing buyer and the willing seller. So the rates you see is as determined by market fundamentals. There's no hand of the central bank in it. On NPR, I want us to note that this increase in inflation that we're experiencing in Nigeria is not just peculiar to Nigeria. This actually started from 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, when there was a lot of injection into the economies, both in the developed and the developing countries, to be able to overcome the impacts, economic impacts of COVID-19. However, these injections were so much that they pushed up money supply, which resulted in inflation. Now, people will say, even though the MPR had been is currently at 18.75, they cannot feel the inflation. Now, you also have to look at the counterfactual. What if the MPR had not been increased to that level? MPR is increased because we target monetary aggregates as our intermediate targets, which at the end of the day we intend to moderate inflationary prices. For most economies, it has taken a long while to come down. We believe, and from our forecast, the decline in inflation will start to be very obvious from the second half of next year. Besides the base effect, our forecasts show that inflation will start to drop. And by the end of 2024, we hope to see inflation in the lower double digits. The last question was on low remittances. The question here is, inflow of remittances into Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the top countries receiving remittances in sub-Saharan Africa. But the cost of inflow using traditional money transfer organizations such as Western Union, MoneyGram, is very high. The average inflow is about 12%, that's the charge on it. So we are looking at ways to which we can reduce this cost of transfer so that more people can come in through the former channel. We have the e-Naira. There's now a policy where people can receive their money in Naira. You know that our diaspora have access to e-Naira. So if this transaction comes in through e-Naira, the cost is very low. So what the central bank is looking at, how to drive down the charges on remittances to increase the inflow, to move them away from the informal sector into the formal. So that is the objective of not low value, but low cost of transmission of services, of remittances into Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll begin to wind down this segment. We want to say thank you to you, Dr. Omara Duke, for your insight into the operations of the Central Bank of Nigeria and our economy. Thank you very much for coming. Let's appreciate her as she steps down.